Greetings from Circle Bookstore. My name is Steven. You're watching the first installment in a monthly series in which I talk about notable books to pass through the store. This episode, we're going to be talking about 3 recent hardcovers, as well as 2 books that just recently came out in paperback. Without any further ado, let's get started. The first book I want to talk about is Vanishing Half by Bennett. This narrative follows a pair of twins, identical in appearance but very different in how they present themselves to society. The sisters are born to a black family, but their fair skin gives them the ability to pass as white, when being black is, to say the least, difficult. One sister chooses to embrace her blackness, to marry the darkest man she can find, whereas the other chooses to leave behind her sister and her heritage, taking a job that is barred to blacks and passing as white into adulthood. This is a fascinating story, a modern-day fable that illustrates how racial categories can be flimsy social constructs on one hand, and deeply felt realities on the other. If you are, like many people right now, mostly confined to the home, you'll find your brain is fertile soil for this next book to worm into. Mexican Gothic, the latest from Silvia Moreno-Garcia, kicks off with a cryptic letter to the glamorous socialite Noemi. It's her sister pleading to be rescued from her new husband's family, who may be poisoning her. Noemi sets off to recover her sister, but finds herself trapped in the family's manor in the mountains of Mexico, an old estate whose bloody history she must unravel if she hopes to get out alive. As the title suggests, this novel is written in the style of a classic Gothic tale, but Moreno-Garcia breathes new life into the genre. Fans of horror are especially encouraged to check this one out. The last hardcover I'll mention is A Burning by Megha Majumdar. This debut novel tells the story of 3 characters' lives intersecting in contemporary India. First and foremost, you've got Jivan, a girl from the slums accused of an act of terror, of setting ablaze a train and killing over 100 people. Then there's P.T. Sur, a cog in the Hindu nationalist movement who stands to improve his station by turning the mob against people like Jivan. Finally, you've got Lovely, an aspiring actress struggling to escape her caste, who has information that could exonerate Jivan. This is a sweeping story of India's socio-political landscape, and more universally, the moral hazards of advancing one's rank in society. That's it for the hardcovers. Now, let's talk about these paperbacks. Exhalation by Ted Chiang is a short story collection that, by this point, I'm running out of adjectives to praise. It was my favorite book of 2019, and almost a year since I read it, I still find myself thinking about some of these stories. If there's a common theme joining most of them together, it's technology. Most of the stories introduce some revolutionary form of technology and illustrate how it affects the course of society and the lives of individuals, sometimes in very surprising ways. I hesitate to draw comparisons to Black Mirror. This book is not nearly so pessimistic, but if you're a fan of that show, I can pretty much guarantee you'll be a fan of this. This other paperback is The Yellow House by Sarah Broom, which won the National Book Award for Nonfiction last year. This is a memoir of Broom's large family and the yellow shotgun house in which they lived. It's also the story of New Orleans, its recent history, including Hurricane Katrina. Many readers will be drawn to this book for its account of Katrina, but what really makes it special is how it puts the hurricane into context, framing it as the culmination of a series of catastrophes that befell a city that often failed to protect its most vulnerable. And with that, I think it's time to wrap up. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. As I said at the beginning, this is a monthly series, so keep an eye out for me in August. And before I forget, those 3 hardcovers I talked about in this episode are 20% off for a limited time, just in case you needed an extra nudge. Thanks for watching. Until next time.